Hello everyone, welcome to the third video of Data Science and AI for Beginner. So in this video, I'll be talking about a very crucial topic in data science, which is called data cleaning. So after you collect a data from the market or after you collect a data from the internet via scraping or you do collect the offline data, the first thing you need to do is to clean the data. Why you need to clean the data? Because the data which is coming from the internet or any outside sources, those are not cleaned. There are many malfunction in the data, many data type mismatch, many missing value. Those all you need to handle first. The first thing we need to do is to clean the data. Now, how do we clean the data, or what are the things we are going to learn as a part of the cleaning the data, that we are going to discuss today. So without further delay, let's get started. So first thing, we are going to do the data cleaning. So data cleaning, what are the data cleaning activities we are going to do? So first we have to fix the structural issue. Okay. So what is the structural issue? So you want a field to be in a proper structure. Just for an example, suppose you want the date to be in YYMMDD. Suppose YYMMDB, that means 2024 04 and 04. It's basically 4th April 2024. Okay. But due to some other activity or due to some malfunction or due to some collection error, you got the data, some of the cases 0404 2024 and some of the cases 2024 0404. Those are the same date, but you have in two different format because there is a structural issue. So that's what you need to do first. You need to remove those or you need to correct those. So using many other technique, you will be correcting those structural issue. Okay. Next thing is removing the unwanted columns. Okay. So a data frame or an entire data set can come with multiple columns. Okay. Most of the cases, those column is not needed, and or maybe you don't need those column. You are doing a specific operation as a part of your data science activity, and for those you may not need all the columns. So you'll do what? From those huge data set, you'll be removing those unwanted column which is not needed by you. Okay. After that, what you do set up a proper index. Okay. Now what is the index? Index is something that used for optimizing your search in the data set, or if you're doing any operation in a big data, you definitely need to have an index. Now what is an index? Let me give you a very real life example. Okay. Let's see, you are actually searching a phone number in a phone book. Okay. And now your phone book contain thousands of phone numbers, and I'm telling you, okay, search my phone number. My name is Anirban. It's there. So what you will be doing, if you don't have an index, you'll go ahead and keep on searching each and every pages until you find my name. And that will take a lot of time. And in a worst case scenario, you need to traverse the entire book. Okay. So then how do you solve this issue? So I'll be keeping an index page where I'll be telling the name start with A, you will find in page number 5 to 8. So in this case, my name is start with Anirban, which is A. You'll be only going to the 5 to 8 page and searching that number. So that is called indexing. So if you are having a data and you are searching via this data, you also need to have an index. So when you are getting a data from outside world, those are not indexed because somebody collected in a different forms and they have given it to you. So it's your duty to identify what will be the index, and depending on that, you set up an index. Okay, that is one thing. Next thing is handle missing data. In your data, there are many column or many row will be missing. That means, let me give you an example. Suppose you are collecting first name, last name and gender, and your expectation, each and every data will have first name, last name and gender. But some of the cases you see that gender is not there. Some of the cases first name is not there. So those are basically missing data. Now, if you don't handle those properly and start working with those missing data, you will get a wrong result, and you don't want that. So that's also you need to do. You need to handle the missing data. Another thing we do as a last, that's a remove outlier. Outlier are the data which is not falling under the proper range. Suppose I'll give you an example. You are actually working with runs of some batsman. who are actually scored in a one-day match. So suppose you see that all the batsmen run from 0 to 200. Okay, somebody has done century, somebody have done double century. That's okay. All are fine. But suddenly you notice some batsman actually scores 800. Doesn't make sense. Nobody in the world, nobody in this world can score 800 in a one-day match. So definitely that's a wrong data. So these are called the outlier. So we need to remove those outlier also. And for removing the outlier, we use some statistical method that we'll discuss in my later videos. But today's videos, let's concentrate on other part. Okay. So next thing, what are you going to know? So we are going to do, or we actually going to use Python. Okay. Definitely I told that all the data science activity we usually do with the Python only, because Python has a very good library. So, and in my previous video also I showed you how to use Python, how to set up your environment with Python. Even I showed you some small coding examples also. And if you want to learn more about Python, please follow the video what I actually upload in Saturday. So every Saturday I'll do mostly on Python, and the Wednesday's video will be mostly focused on the data science. So in this today's video, I am assuming you actually gone through my previous video and you have a basic understanding that how to install Python, how do you go with a Jupyter notebook, and how do you run code there. So in this video, we are going to learn two library. So I told why we use Python. Python has a very good library to perform many operations, which will be very difficult to perform without a library. So Python has two library, Panda and NumPy. For these, using these two library only, today we'll be doing some data cleaning activity. Okay. So for Panda, what we use for Panda we use for handling the data frame. And NumPy we'll be using for doing some operations. I'll tell you what are the operation and what are the things we are doing. Okay. So now one word we recently learned, that is what is data frame. So before we go to the coding example and do some actual coding, we need to understand what is a data frame, because any data science activity you are actually doing on a data frame only. Okay. So now what is a data frame? Data frame is basically a two-dimensional data, and in easy language I can tell it's a row column structure. That means it can have a row and column. It's more like a Excel. Okay, it's a tabular structure. There are many other word I can tell, but it's a tabular structure. That's the most thing. So you have a row, you have a column. If I think about properly, what is a data frame basically? So this is your row column structure. So this is your column. So if you see this data, I have two column. One is 1, one is 2, and 2 row. 0th row, first row. So and I have a data based on that. So that's your actually data frame. Now, how the data actually represent in Python in technical way? This is how Python actually sees the data. How do Python sees the data? It's a 1. Basically, in 1 you have, this is the column name 1. You have an object. There you have 1, and you have the value 5, 3, and 5 belong to 0, and 1 belongs to 3. That's how you do. Similarly, you have 2. For 2 column, you have 2 value. 1 is belong to 3, another is belong to 4. So 3 belongs to 0, 4 belongs to 1. So this is the same table structure I represented in a technical representation what Python is thinking. Okay. So let's get started with today's agenda. So today's agenda will be loading some data using Python. We'll be understanding how to load data using Python. Okay. Then we'll be cleaning the unwanted columns. That's what we have discussed. We'll be creating some index, like what is this index, all things we'll be creating. Okay. After that, we'll correct some data type, what we have told, that's correct the structural thing. Okay. After that, we clean some data using some junk column. Okay. And after that, if we see that all things going fine, then we'll be working with some text data file, or I'll be making a new video for that also, whenever you're working with the text data file, because today's things we'll be working on an Excel or CSV file. And in Python, data cleaning can happen using a text file also, using an Excel also, using any file. You can have an image also to use the data cleaning. So any kind of data which is coming for your data science activity need to be cleaned. Okay. So let's go to my Python Jupyter notebook now. Okay, so how do we proceed with that? So go to your Jupyter notebook. Here I have created one file called folder called dcleaned. Okay, and you already know how to work with Jupyter notebook. If you don't, please follow my previous video. There I explain how to work with Jupyter notebook and how to open it. So what we'll be doing first today, we'll be basically taking a notebook. Okay, new notebook. Okay, now you can see Python is there. Okay, now what you need to do first I need the library in place, right? So I need to install the library. So there are two ways to install a library in Python. One way you can install it from the console, and another way, if you want to install inside your Jupyter notebook, there is a process. That is the process I'm telling now. So first thing is import sys. So you'll be importing the system. Okay, after that what you need to do, sys dot executable, okay, -m, then pip install panda. So I am going to install panda, and to execute it, actually it's an executable file, so you just need to give this. This is basically a syntax, and you don't need to remember or remind this because you're only going to write it only one time. Okay, now next thing is, after installing the panda, I'll be installing the numpy. Okay, now these two are the main thing which I am to install. So how to install it? Just run this code and it will get installed. So if I click on run, so you'll see some loading icon here. That means it is actually pulling that from Python cloud storage and installing it. See, it's telling install already satisfied. I may have already installed. So for you may be showing a different kind of log, but after it's done, if you see there are no loading icon here, that means it is installed. After installing, you need to import those library into your project. How do you import it? Just like import pandas as pd. Okay, and again I need to import the numpy, import numpy as np. Okay, so these are for importing. Next thing, I'm going to read a CSV file or a Excel file. So in many cases, or in the data science cases, we usually go with the CSV file. Now let's show you the CSV file which you are going to use today. Okay, let's there is a CSV file I have in my database. So let's see how the CSV file look like. So here I'm in this folder. Click on upload. If you have CSV file in any places, you can go ahead with this. I have this data set. This called something called BigFlix USB. This one I will be using today, and I want to rename it so that I don't need to write this big name. Let's name it data.csv. It's an optional thing. You can use this big name also. It's up to you because I don't want to type this big name. Okay. Now next thing is what I need to do. I need to load the CSV into my project. How do I do it? Let's do it. PD. Okay, let me just scroll it down a little bit so that I can show you properly. This is my code. So how do I load this CSV? Basically df is equal to PD, okay, which is actually holding the pandas I have actually imported as PD, so I can write PD as panda dot read underscore CSV, and after that what you need to give, you need to give your data name, data.csv. okay, and it's inside quotation. Okay, now data frame has been loaded. Now if you want to check whether it is loaded properly or not, what you need to do, df.head. So what you will do, so first line df pd.read CSV, basically read all the CSV and load it as a data frame into the df variable. Okay, and next thing df.head, what it will do, it will read the data frame and display the first 5 data just for the checking purpose. Okay, let's understand and run it. See, you can see the data has been loaded. See, the entire data has been loaded. So I have the column, I have identifier, state, edition statement, place of publication, date of publication, publisher, author, contributor. This all I have. Okay, and this all has been loaded. So the loading part is completed. So we have done data load. It's as simple as that. Now we have a data as a data frame. I can do anything. First thing what we'll be doing today now, I will be cleaning the data. Okay, let's clean the data out. How do you clean the data? So you see now first I need to understand what to clean. You see there are identifier, edition statement, place of publication, date of publication. There are many columns, publisher, title. But if you go properly, the sum of the column is not seen. If you see corporate author, most of them are none. I don't need corporate author, corporate contributor, former owner, engraver. Those I don't need. I want to research some book. Okay, so I don't need this kind of information. I already have the book, publisher name, title, and when it is published, what it is published. That is enough for me. So what I'll be doing, I will be removing this data. So let's understand how to remove this data. Okay, let's write some code for removing this data. So here, first I'll be list down what are the data I want to remove, what are the column I want to remove. So let me have data C. So there I will be keeping all my column name. Here let's keep an array. What is array? If you don't know, array is actually if I want to store same data type in a multiple data type in a single variable. Variable you already know. If I want to store multiple values in a single variable, that's how array. I'll do more thing on array in my Python tutorials. For now, let's just follow the syntax. Okay, so what I'll be doing here, I'll be writing the column names. What are the column names available here? So if I go ahead and see the column names, corporate author. Okay, is the column name corporate. So these are the data you can see that I don't think that not needed or unnecessarily there. So I will be removing this data. So these all the columns will get removed. How do I remove the column? So basically I need to do df dot drop. Okay, what is the drop column actually do? Basically drop statement is used for dropping the column name what I want to drop. So in this drop, what I'll be giving data C that contain my column name data C. Okay, and in place, what is in place? I'll tell you. In place true and axis is equal to 1. Axis 1 for removing the column because it's actually removing your vertical way. Okay, so data C is the column need to be removed. What is in place? In place is telling me that actually modify the current data set and replace those with the new thing. That means it will, whatever the data set I have, it will modify that data set and remove those from that data set. If I give an in place false, what will do, it will not modify the existing one. It will give me another data set which will contain this removed column. Okay, fresh column. So now let's go ahead and run it. I don't want another data set because I don't even need this for a different purpose. Okay, data dot drop. After that, what we'll be doing df dot head to check whether those are removed or not. See, if you see the column now, mini column has been removed. If I come here and see the title author is there, whatever the column I want to remove, this actually has been removed. Okay, let me just go ahead and write it here. See, author is there, contributor is there. After that, you see the column which is having none or NaN, all the things what I have actually mentioned, those got removed. Now I have only that until this. Okay, these are all having data. So I am actually deleted the unwanted column. Now next part is setting up an index. Okay, so now you see here there are no index are there. Okay, data is coming from a raw outside world, there will be no index. Now how do I go ahead and add an index? I need to first detect which column can be suitable for index, and it's a very advisable thing, not mandatory thing, to always check for a unique column. So now you see addition statement, place of publication, that can be duplicated. A single book can have these to multiple book can have the same value. But if you see, or if you think about the identifier, this identifier is basically unique because it's identifying the unique book. To check whether the identifier is unique or not, how do we do it? There is another way. So df dot identifier dot is unique. Okay, if I run it, okay, there is some issue with this. Let me check the spelling properly. I believe I have given a wrong spelling. That's happened many times if I do it. Okay, df dot identifier I think identifier spelling is wrong. Let's copy it. So yeah, I capital I believe. Let's go ahead and let just remember these columns are case sensitive. So if you have give a wrong case, it will not work. Okay, now R is missing. Okay, so you can see df dot identifier is unique. I'm asking data frame whether the identifier is a unique column. If all the value of the identifier column is a unique, then definitely it will go ahead and tell you it is a unique value. Okay, so that's how this will work. So now I can understand this identifier is a unique column. That means I can make identifier as an index. Now how do I add an index, or how do I set a column as index? So using the set index method. Okay, now we'll go with df dot set index. Okay, now what is the index name? It will be identifier, same value. Sorry, it will be my identifier. Let's go ahead and put an identifier here, and that's all. Now my df dot set index, it is identifier. Now it is actually created. So identifier has been set up. Okay, now my index is now identifier. Okay, now another thing I need to do, I forgot to do, basically always do the in place is equal to true, so that it will not create a new data set. It will actually modify a existing data set. Okay, now it's modified. Now if I want to check whether it's set up or not, you just go from df dot loc, give any index name. Let's randomly give 208, which is our identifier, and if you go ahead with this, you will see. Okay, let's see what is the problem. Okay, I believe there are no key called 208. Let me see. Let's go with 206. That is there. See, 206 is there. 206 key were present, so I can see all the information of a 206. So I can see the addition statement is none. Place of publication, date of publication, publisher, author, all the information that is for identifier 206 has been printed. And that is how actually you set up an index. So we had, what have we done until now? We have removed the unnecessary columns. We have set up an index. Okay, what is our next step? Our next step is to correct the data type. Now what is the problem with the data type? You'll see if you go df.head. Okay, and if I see the data properly, what I'll be seeing, see the publication, data publication. So data publication supposed to be a 4-digit year. Okay, you can see 1868 and all things, but if you see this data, it is 1879, 1878. Okay, which is not a correct data. So we need to understand that all the publication should be actually a 4-digit numeric value. Okay, now how do I do that? For that, we need to use some regex, and you need to properly do this data. Now how do I do using a regex? Now what is a regex? First of all, it's a new word for you. What is regex? Regex stands for regular expression. Okay, the regex stand for regular expression. Regular expression means what? Now I can tell some expression. I cannot go ahead and tell that every data, because I don't know that what is the data is there for which row. So I cannot go ahead and tell that, okay, in this row I have 1857, something like this, change it. So what I need to tell, I need to tell a pattern. I'll tell that, okay, if this pattern matches, then only extract the data. That means from here, this 1879, 1878, you will extract the 1879 and keep the rest. Okay. And for which column I want to apply this? I want to apply this for DF. Okay. And that column name is basically date of publication. Let's copy the date of publication. So we are going to do this activity for the date of publication. DF dot date of publication. Okay. After doing this, what I need to do basically, I need to use the regex statement. And how do you use the regex statement? Now this syntax will be little bit complicated now from now on, because it's the first time you are seeing it. But remember, if you start doing more and more activities, you don't need to remember the syntax. You just need to remember the concept. Syntax is I'm just giving for this video's example. Okay. So now what I need to do here, str.extract. So dot str dot extract. Okay, and in this extract I need to give my regex. Now how do you give the regex? So now for if you want a more detailed definition in regex, I can give you a detailed definition in regex. Okay. What is regex and how do you do it? But for now, just remember it this way. Okay, R, and here I'll be going like this. So what is my goal here? My goal is to okay, it will be like R this. My goal is to only go ahead and take all the number. Basically this suppose for all the number, and how many digit number? This is for the 4. Okay, this is my regex statement. Okay, now this is the regex statement I am going to use. So what it is telling? It is telling that sign this sign is the start of matching, and inside this bracket what are the things I am going to match as a group. So I am grouping it that /d stand for all the numbers or all the integers, and this 4 is called quantifier. That is mean only 4 will get match. Okay, clear? So now what I need to do, I need to wrap it. Now this is my regex. Okay, now what I need to do here, another parameter I need to fill, that expand is equal to false. Okay, now this entire thing what I need to do, I need to keep it in another part, because it is not going to modify my existing data frame. It is actually taking all that information of data publication, and while it's taking, it is only taking which is matching integer and only forward. That part only it will be taking. After that, let's see whether the syntax is correct or not. Yes, syntax is correct, no issue. Now extract contain all the data but only the data publication value, where the data publication is only 4 digit and integer. Now what I need to do, I need to merge it to my new data set. I need to merge it to my new data set. How do I merge it to my new data set? So df, this is the data publication. Let's copy it. Here only I want to merge. Okay, and also while I'm merging, this 4 digit is basically a numeric value. Previously, when it comes as a part of my when it comes as a part of my previous data, it was not an integer. So now I need to convert into a number or numeric value. Okay, so what I'll be doing, pd dot to numeric. Okay, sorry, it got caps lock. pd dot to underscore numeric. Okay, and here you will be passing this extract. Okay, now your df has been created. Now just check df dot head after that whether it's all correct or not. Okay, there is some issue is there. Let me check. To numeric spelling is basically not correct. This is the thing I have done. Okay, now if you see, all the data here is numeric now. See, it's called 1879 only. Now the data is not having any wrong value. You can get 1879, 1868, 1960.0. See, 0.0 standing for the numeric value is now having a float point. Okay, so now you have all the data properly corrected for the data publication. Now if you want to do any numeric operations on data publication, you want to know what is the date, what is the how many of the data is before 2000 or after 2000, as it is a numeric value, you can do those operations. So this is how we do a data correction. Okay, the data correction has been done. So what we have done until now, we have created an index, remove unwanted column, did some data correction. Okay, so it's not a data correction, I can tell, it's a field value correction. So field value was different, we have done it like this. Okay, now let's think about another thing. Let's think about another part that we are going to do. We are going to actually remove some junk data that is basically from place of publication. If you see the place of publication, is have London and Watson, London. So many of the cases London, but if you see this properly, this is also belongs to London only, but they have actually added something like this here. So what I want only is for me to know it is in London or not. That is enough. So I need to do this currently. Okay, now how do I do it? So this is where I need to use Panda and NumPy both together. Okay, how do I do it? So basically I first need to detect or extract the London from each and every places. Now let's see how do I do it. Okay, first let's see the pace of place of publications value. So we'll have some understanding. So always check the value. df dot, let's have this place of publication. Let's have this place of publication, and after that dot head, after that give a 10. That means first 10 record I want to see from the place of publication. See, you can see some of the cases London, some of the cases have London plus one extra junk parameter. Those all we can actually remove and uniform it to a London. Okay, and there is also thing called Oxford. So that means there are something called London, something called Oxford. So you basically want to test the entire data set, but for today's video I'll be just doing with London and Oxford only. Okay, and others I'll be checking later. So you can go ahead and drill down on other things, like if you see other than London and Oxford, if you have any other countries are there, you can go ahead with this. So process is same. Just process what I'm going to show you, the process is same for others also. Let's go ahead with the process first. Now first what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to have a similar data set just like I have done it for extraction. So PUBS, let's have publications. Publication is equal to the same data frame. I'm going to copy it here, just like we have done it for your. Okay, now let's have this data frame here. So now these are the process that I'm showing you, and it's all depends on the type of data. It doesn't mean that all the data which you will be working in future you'll be using the same thing. No, there are different kind of data, different kind of algorithm need to be done, different kind of things are there. All things are like that. Okay, so in the place of publication, pubs is having the place of publication. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to extract the London from here. Okay, from that I'll be to extract the London. So let's have a variable called London. Okay, is equal to pubs dot, in publications wherever I see London, I'll pull those data only. Okay, how do I pull those data? So pub dot str dot contain, okay, and the value is what I'm going to do, give here this the London, the same value. Now what is this London will contain? London will contain a different kind of data frame, okay, where you will see all the data frame, but wherever you have London, there it will be true. Wherever you have don't have London, there it will be false. That is your first thing. Same thing basically you can do for Oxford also. If I want to pull up the Oxford, okay, now you have both of the things, London and Oxford. Okay, both the things are there. Now is your last part. How do you merge these two data? Okay, I have London, I have Oxford. How I'm going to merge it? For that, I have to do some operations. Okay, what is the operation? I told you that I will be using NumPy. Until now I have not used the NumPy. So NumPy are used to do some logical operation on the data frame. Okay, now in the data publication, I am going to modify the data publication. Let's just check it properly. Okay, you can repeat the video to understand, or if you need a more detailed explanation, I can give you on NumPy. You can comment it out. I can give a separate video for NumPy operations. Okay, let's understand the syntax properly. We'll be using NumPy in this case. Okay, let's say np dot where. Okay, so first what I'm going to do, so first it is basically London. Okay, if this is London, what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep London here. Okay, now next thing is another where clause, because I want to replace this Oxford also. What I need to do is np.where again here. Now another np.where. Okay, what I want to do here, if Oxford colon Oxford. Okay, you can actually skip from here also. You can actually stay and close your program here also, but I want to do little bit more, because some of the cases I can see a dash or something. If you see the data, there are many places I can see dash or something in place of publication, and I don't want that one. Okay, if I go ahead with the data, there are many places I can see dash or something there. So dash is not very good for anything, so I can go ahead and remove the dash also. Okay, you can actually close and complete it here also. Okay, but you can, okay, the comma, okay, fine, this comma is there. You can actually actually go ahead and complete this here also, but I want to go one step here, and I want to do something more. Okay, now here again, what I need to do here, the last thing what I want to do here, basically replace all the things from dash to space. Okay, okay, pubs dot, how do you replace something from dash to place? So they are having a string replace option. So basically when you do a string regex, so here similarly str dot replace, and here you want to replace what? I want to replace dash, and what to replace with dash? I want to replace space with dash. Okay, now this bracket ended, this bracket also ended, and Oxford is there. Okay, so this is the syntax. Now we'll try to run the syntax whether it is correct or not. I believe I need another 1 2 3, another bracket 1 2 3. Okay, this where is not needed. I'll be going with this 1 2 3, and here also I need another one called 3. So bracket is very important. So yeah, there are no syntax error. Now what you will see, if I go ahead and do df dot head, okay, now what you will be seeing, see, you'll see London, 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 and if you see somewhere is Oxford is there. And if I go ahead and instead of df dot head, if I go ahead df dot head 10, you'll see some other places where Oxford is also there. See, now 10 record has been given. See, some other places Oxford, London, 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 all the places are uniform. So now I can categorize this via London and Oxford. Okay, so this is how you actually go ahead and clarify some data or uniform some data. So there are some malfunction or malformed data are there, and this is the way you have actually corrected it. Okay, so that is it for today. So this is the thing or basic thing of the data cleaning. Okay, from next video we'll be talking about next thing. If you can let me know if you need any more video on data cleaning. There are many other techniques are there are many other things, many other kind of anomaly we can find in the data, and depending on that we are actually cleaning out. Let me know if you need any other video in this topic. Depending on that, I'll do that. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and please share the video, and also let me know in the comment what I can improve and what are the next type of video you want. Thank you for that.